Welcome back. In this video, let us try to do some SQL statements in the Google Cloud Console. Okay. So referring to my previous video, you would be aware like my first project was created by default by Google Cloud Platform, and I'm making use of the same project in order to continue with the upcoming videos. Okay. So let us try to import the data set by clicking on the Add Data button in the Explorer area. And now I'm going to import the dataset from the Analytics Hub. Okay, so click on Explore Analytics Hub. And I wanted the publicly available dataset. So in the filter on the left, I'm clicking on Public. So let us try to explore some sports dataset. Okay, so I'm clicking on Sport. And there is NCAA basketball. Okay, so when you click here, you will be able to get the overview of what this data set is all about. Fine. So it contains the data about NCAA basketball games, the teams and the players. So game data cover play-by-play and box scores back to 2009 as well as the final score back to 1996. Okay. In order to add this data set to our project, just click on Add Data Set to Project. So this is the project ID which you wanted to map, and this is the link dataset name. So I don't want to make any changes. If you wanted to make any changes to the project name, then you can click on browse and you can select your respective project. Now we have only one project, so I'm leaving it as it is and clicking on save. So the new dataset NCAA basketball is added to the project. So here if you see, the COVID-19 open data is added to a project. So we are not going to work on this dataset now. So let us delete it. In order to delete a dataset, click on the three dots, that is the view actions, and click on delete. Here Google asks for a confirmation for us to delete. So this is to avoid the deleting the datasets by mistake. So I want to delete it permanently. So I'm giving delete here and click on delete. The COVID-19 dataset is deleted. And now we have only the NCAA basketball dataset. So there are various tables within this. Let us try to explore one particular table for this video. Okay. So let us try to view on MBB historical teams games. So here the schema contains all the column names, that is the field names, and the description about these columns. Okay. And the details, it contains the details about the table, that is the total size and the number of rows and when was it created and when was it last updated. Okay. So actually in the preview you will be able to see the actual data set. But when you wanted to select only few columns and do some analysis, then we wanted to query this data set, right? So in order to query this data set, what should you do? Just click on the view actions and then click on query. So this will create a default select statement for us, and this is not formatted. So in order to format it, as we discussed earlier, click on more and click the format query, and this will bring you a formatted format. Okay. And then I don't want to limit this to 100, so I'm just removing this. And here you can provide any of the columns of your interest from the dataset. Okay. So what shall we do? I wanted to find the season and the names. Okay. So in which season, which team won. Okay, let us check these three. So first one is season, and then name, followed by win. Okay, let us try to run this query. So here if you see here, this query running, it actually shows the current status, and the data which you have fetched is all about 8.57 MB. Okay, so the results per page, you can see there are 50 rows per page. You can increase it, and you may have any number of pages. Okay. Over the upper right, there is a statement that this query will process about this 8.57 MB of data when run. Okay. So this is a good indicator of how much data will be processed. And that's important in BigQuery because BigQuery charges based upon few different things, right? So one of them is how much data is processed or scanned when you run the query. But for our purpose, I have restricted to three different columns. Okay, so suppose if I remove one column here, you will be able to see the difference in the size of the data which was fetched by the Google BigQuery. So every time you increase the number of columns, you can see that the amount of the data being processed slightly varies. And BigQuery uses something called as a column by storage, and we will get into that little later. But basically, the more columns we look at, the more data will be scanning in. Okay. This is actually a very important thing because this allows us to specify only the columns which we are interested, and then only those columns of the data will be scanned. Other columns in the table that we are not interested, they are not going to be scanned and we are not going to be paid for that. And if we wanted to filter certain data or how to use where clause within the BigQuery console is, so I wanted the win as well here. And then so here I'm just providing my where condition where season is greater than 2010. Fine. So let us try to run this. So whichever season was played after 2020 will be listed out here. So similarly, you can try to add other columns in this data set and explore or understand about the data set and perform other analytics as well. So actually the where clause is really a good way to narrow down the amount of the data that gets returned from a query. Okay. In the next video, we will try to perform certain order by, group by and other clauses. Fine. Thanks for watching this video. Have a nice day.